Happy Friday, everyone. I know that you thought that we were just horsing around last week. I wanted to let you know that some progress has actually been made. We have handed off a lot of the data, which is great because they will be able to clean the data through a process instead of manually. I was able to figure out how the data should be cleaned given how we use the system and what data and fields we use, especially when we have something like the as-is indicator on the vehicle that has 10 different fields that mark it as as-is. Well, how do we assume a vehicle's as-is if only 2 of those fields say as-is? So a lot of the process has been figuring out, okay, this vehicle says it's as is it really? And how do we do that as an assumption so that we can write a rule around the data in order to properly insert the data into the new system? So that takes a while. They actually have the vehicle inventory and the parts data loaded, so it's just waiting for the data to be validated so that we can load it into the production environment. And then we have customer data, which is going to be hard to reconcile because we have customer data in SysPro and customer data in Salesforce, and we have duplicate accounts in both. To do that all manually is very difficult. So they actually have access to this tool that lets them automate that process. So we are testing it out this week and maybe next week and see if it'll work for us. And if so, it'll make the process so much easier to do. We also have this week a Sharepoint site up for all of the IT projects. Mainly, I'm going to be updating it for this project so that everyone can stay in the know. I have started testing out the tax code setup, and our taxes are very unique for the mobility industry. Getting the new system set up in that is been quite a lot of work, and we're finally at the point where we can validate the setup that DealerTeam did for us. And so that's a huge item on my list that I expect to have maybe an issue here or there that we can update and then cross that off the list and move on to testing out all the processes in the system, which is one of the few things left before we can pilot. It doesn't mean we're going to pilot next week, but it does mean that this data piece, we're finally getting to the end. To give you a horse analogy, we can see the sun rising over the pasture, which is what we want. It's the end goal. That is all I have for this week. Keep on trouting along.